Deandre Ayton on the move. It appears the Blazers are considering putting their highest paid big out there on the market. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to our fast-growing NBA channel. We're going to do everything we can to keep you up to date in the world of the NBA and all of the latest trade rumors. So here's what's going on. According to Mark Stein on his fantastic Substack, he writes, the increasingly popular question in the Pacific Northwest, as relayed via Jake Fisher, would the Trailblazers, given their druthers, rather trade Deandre Ayton and keep Robert Williams? The natural presumption is yes, given how well Williams has played since finally being activated, but Portland's challenge would be contractual. Ayton is earning $34 million this season and is owed $35.6 next season as the final year of that deal that he signed, that offer sheet with Indiana that Phoenix matched some years ago. Williams does have an injury history, but has a much more trade-friendly contract. All right, so let's take a look at this. Robert Williams actually being kept by the Blazers and Deandre Ayton potentially being the player on the way out and some of the complicating factors in that. I think it does make a lot of sense here. Take a look at this. This is the offensive overview here for Robert Williams, so you can get a sense of what he has done. This is cleaning the glass. They do a fantastic job there. And what you're looking at here is actually what Robert Williams has done relative to the rest of his peers. And I'm talking about positionally. So this compares Robert Williams to other bigs. Now, he's only played in six games so far, so it's a small sample size. But you look at what Robert Williams has done. He's in the 100th percentile in the points per shot attempt category. So that means he is insanely efficient on the offensive end so far. Again, only 6 games. Is it sustainable at that rate? Probably not. But then you look over the course of his career, look how efficient this man has been. Absurd. 94, 97, 100 in his 61 games. The points per shot attempt, phenomenal for Robert Williams. Not a big time scorer, but he's just extremely efficient with the looks that he does get. And then you go and you take a look at, now unfortunately he does have kind of a high turnover rate. He ranks just in the 18th percentile there, so the turnovers hurt a little bit. But let's compare this to Deandre Ayton. Go look at Deandre Ayton's offensive overview right now. It's certainly a more diverse offensive skill set for Ayton, but look at this. Ayton's usage is in the 59th percentile compared to just 24 for Williams. And then the points per shot attempt, 31st percentile. That means more than half, significantly more than half of the bigs in the NBA are more efficient scoring the basketball than Deandre Ayton is right now. And the assist percentage simply not very high for him. Then we go take a peek at the defensive numbers, the defense, the rebounding. What Ayton does extremely well, again, we're still looking at Deandre Ayton. What Ayton does very well is he doesn't foul much. He defends without fouling, and that's fantastic. But look what he's not doing. Not blocking shots at a very high percentage. Now, we know, if you know anything about Robert Williams, it's that he can certainly block shots. So take a look at Williams compared to Ayton. 93rd percentile in block percentage. Unreal. And then you add into that, his foul percentage is crazy low. So think about that. Typically, guys pick up fouls when they're chasing blocks, especially when I'm talking about bigs. But Robert Williams not only blocks shots at a percentage that's higher than nearly every other big in the NBA, 93rd percentile there compared to other bigs, but he's also in the 98th percentile in foul percentage. Now you look at last year with the Blazers, he was in the 8th percentile. So is this just a small sample size? Maybe, but he also has 2 years with Boston of being great in foul percentage while also being really good in block percentage. It's very difficult to find a player who can do both of those things, block shots at an extremely high rate and avoid picking up fouls. It's extremely important. You hear coaches around the NBA talk about it all the time, about defending without fouling. Then you look at what he's doing on the offensive glass. He hasn't gotten an offensive rebound on a free throw just yet, which is not out of the ordinary. But you look at across the board, his rebounding, fantastic. 77th percentile, 66th percentile. Again, you go back and you take a look at Ayton, not bad there. Certainly no slouch here. The 64th percentile, 90th percentile in defensive rebound percentage. He's definitely helping you out there, but still not the rim protector right now that Robert Williams is. So then you go take a look at what these guys are getting paid. I think you can make the argument that you're getting more of a positive impact right now from Robert Williams than you are from Deandre Ayton. And then you go take a look at what these guys are actually making. And you could see that Robert Williams is making far, far less. In fact, if we look at Robert Williams and we look at the impact that he's making out there on the floor, he is indeed, right now, according to Cleaning the Glass, he is a plus 1.8 in net rating per 100 possessions when he's on the floor for the Blazers. Compare that to Deandre Ayton, and he is a -5. Yeah. You're getting more. It's, again, small sample size, but you're getting more from Robert Williams right now than you are from Deandre Ayton. So, do you go ahead and trade Ayton then? Both players under contract for 2 years. There's plenty of teams out there on the market that need a big. I mean, think about it. The New Orleans Pelicans, they could use another big badly need a big, especially a starting caliber big. What if you were able to, for example, if Deandre Ayton is the piece moving out, $34 million, what if you're able to come up with, I don't know, the Portland wants Brandon Ingram, but what if you were to come up with a 3-team trade involving Deandre Ayton and his contract going to New Orleans, Brandon Ingram going to a third team, and assets going to the Blazers? That, to me, makes a lot of sense. And then you just hang on to Robert Williams and you pair him with Donovan Clingan, who's done some really good things for the Blazers as well this season. Maybe it makes more sense if you're Portland to hang on to the guy that's only making $12.5 million this season and $13.3 million next season and is giving you certainly more bang for your buck. You could argue he's the better player right now between the two, the better fit. Now, again, Ayton, it's a small sample size with Williams, and Ayton does have, I think, a bit more of a diverse offensive game. He's got some other things that he can do. But given the cost here, if you could turn Ayton into some type of future asset, given how many teams out there need a center, the Pelicans, the Lakers need another big. You've got a team like the Knicks, could certainly, depending on what the status is going to be and their comfort level with Mitchell Robinson and him recovering from injury, could they use another big? There's a number of teams. The big man position has come back into style in the NBA. Teams are now more willing to spend on the center position. Might there be takers for Deandre Ayton, just like there are for Robert Williams? Because I'll tell you what, the only issue with Robert Williams, the only thing that's giving teams pause about trading for Robert Williams, it's the injury status. It's the fact that he has been so injured, only played 6 games last year, and he's dealt with a long career full of injury problems. So can you overcome that if he's still played? Does it take him playing consistently all the way through January? And then we get to the trade deadline, and then teams are willing to pay for Robert Williams right now. Because getting a team to bite on Robert Williams, it would be a leap of faith that he's going to be okay injury-wise. Maybe they'd feel more comfortable with Deandre Ayton despite the higher price tag. Now, again, the challenge with Ayton is you're going to have to stack up for most teams. Unless you've got like a Brandon Ingram making $36 million, it's going to take stacking up multiple contracts to go get Deandre Ayton simply because he's making so much money. And that second year under contract, that will be a challenge for teams as well. There's a lot of teams that don't want to take on any future salary right now. Teams are running scared of the new collective bargaining agreement. They don't want to mess with it, and there's real concern about them potentially getting into that second-tier apron. And so teams are very, very careful right now with taking on any long-term money. So I think it could be challenging to move on Deandre Ayton, but if I'm the Blazers, I'm definitely exploring it. If I can find a team that is desperate to find a center, and like I said, I think there are some teams out there that would fit that bill. If I'm finding a team that is desperate to add a center, and you can find a way to get assets, future pieces, doesn't have to be somebody to help you right now, young players, picks, things like that, in exchange for Deandre Ayton, and I'm not expecting a huge return, but it may make more sense for the Blazers, despite the fact that I think he's going to have a much wider market, to just keep Robert Williams III, trade Deandre Ayton, and you're building around Robert Williams III, Donovan Clingan as your bigs. Off you go. Ayton is 26. Robert Williams is 27. We're not talking about a huge age difference here, but we are talking about a major salary difference. And based on what we've seen on the floor so far, a major difference in production as well. But everybody, let me know your thoughts. Clearly, Mark Stein saying the Blazers would prefer to move Deandre Ayton. What do you think the landing spot would be should they decide to do that? Don't forget to go check out our latest video, which is on the Bucks and the reason why nobody will trade with them. And of course, subscribe right here to the channel.